Almonte, Leclerc y Olsen. En el programa de hoy tenemos los planes que se han hecho en el 1999, en el 2004 y vamos a hablar también de lo que es el contrato 0 hora y vamos a hablar de las medidas nuevas del gobierno en Holanda. Y ahora en inglés.
Yes, this is Almonte, Leclerc and Olsen, and today we'll talk about the plans, the scripting that has been written in 1999 and 2004 about the pandemic going on this moment. We will talk especially about people having a 0 hours contract, and we will talk about the new plans presented yesterday by our government to capitalize and to overcome this coronavirus.
No se mueva, quédese ahí.
See you.
Bienvenidos a todos nuestros amigos y amigas a este su programa Almonte, Leclerc y John Olsen. En este día tenemos muchas cosas que compartir con ustedes y lo vamos a hacer en español y en inglés.
Yes, good afternoon all you there watching us at Almonte, Leclerc and Olsen. And in the back you see a whole construction site going on. And it seems like the deconstruction and construction of our society, which has been affected by the corona crisis, and we're heading now for the second week. And yesterday we had a new press conference. We will zoom in that in a few moments. But first, Mitchell Almonte will talk about the scripting that came on the internet. There was a scripting up here that was saying about how the government will handle with a virus like this. And this is a scripting that was from 2004
and 1999.
And 1990. Can you share with us about that?
Yes, of course. I will give a little bit in Spanish what you just said.
Yes.
Estamos aquí hablando de las consecuencias del coronavirus en Holanda. En esta segunda semana aquí de las medidas, se han tomado medidas más estrictas, pero como ha dicho el señor John Olsen, ya habían ciertos planes que se publicaron en el 2004, por ejemplo, y otro del 1999. El del 99 es el plan de preparación para la pandemia de influenza. Es un plan que, bueno, se hizo en Ginebra, Suiza, abril 1999. Y el de Holanda es el Beleidsdraaiboek Influenza Pandemie. Entonces, estos planes son muy importantes. Muy importantes, ¿por qué? Porque en ellos se encuentra información acerca de las distintas fases cuando existe una pandemia. Y estas fases podemos ver que aplican también a la situación con el coronavirus. So, John, I'm telling the people that these plans have described in them the phases on how to act when there is such a crisis as a corona crisis, as a pandemic.
Like, you know.
Yes,
not
so
like we have today.
Yes, so these phases, they are guiding, and we think they are usable for people to have an idea on what will happen, which measurements will the governments take, who is responsible for what. For example, in these plans, you see the role of the mayor in Holland.
Yes.
The mayors in Holland have a very important role. Like you heard yesterday,
yes,
they have some special authorities that have been confined to them so that they can act to protect the citizens who live in their municipalities.
Yeah. So, can you share with us a little bit the most important things that are written in the scripting?
I think the most important thing, como pregunta el señor John Olsen, ¿qué es lo más importante que está en estos planes? I think, John, the most important thing is that the people have an idea on which measures are available and what will happen. For example, the measurements like stay at home, keep your distance,
yes,
all these measurements were already in these plans. And if people would know these measurements before a crisis comes to them, they are better prepared.
Yes. These days are also the days that many stories are appearing, you know, and they are labeled as conspiracy theory. Having a plan like this from the government seems like there are some consciousness in it. So is this like a conscious plan, well prepared to roll out in a time like this, or is this just a flu that just happened?
I understand that people may have these thoughts. I understand, and I think it's good for people to be critical. Nevertheless, from my point of view, with these plans, what I want to achieve is to share the knowledge that is in these plans so people can take the measurements. So whether these plans were written forehand with certain ideas, that's something I want to leave for the people to think about themselves. But what I really want the people to do is to know the measurements that they have to take.
Exactly. And one of our most important sayings is to keep calm, because panic is a bad advisor.
Exactamente. Entonces, lo que le acabo de decir al señor John Olsen es que él me dice que ciertas personas están hablando de teorías de conspiraciones y demás. Lo que nosotros tratamos de hacer es señalar que estos planes existen, que están en las redes y que pueden ser muy útiles para nosotros tomar las medidas correspondientes. Porque todo lo que estamos viendo, todas las medidas que estamos viendo, que se están tomando ahora, ya están escritas en estos planes. Y la pregunta surge, si nosotros estos planes lo estudiamos, esto podrá mitigar el pánico, mitigar también todas las preguntas que surgen por no entender qué va a pasar.
Yes. And we also see that this virus is hitting very hard on our economy. Not only on the businesses, small businesses, but also on the employers. And one of these sector groups I want to focus on is the people with a zero-hour contract, because they are very panicking now, because they will not be scheduled to have a job, and with no job, no income, how will they pay for the rent and the other costs? So what can you share from your point of view on these people with a zero-hour contract?
Yes, well, John, what I can say about the people with a zero-hour contract, like we know this in Holland, these people, they get called. They called them, the employers call them, when there is work to do. But now, as the corona crisis hits also the sector in what we call in Holland the horeca, for example,
yes.
The cleaning sector, for example, these people are at home and they are very worried about their income. So from a legal perspective, there is a legal claim, we can call it a legal claim, when before 3 months, for example, I give you an example, 3 months before this crisis, you were working, for example, 30 hours a week steadily during
yes.
3 months.
Yes.
Well, if you can show this, then you can talk with your employer and tell him, listen, according to this law, I have worked like 3 months for you and so much hours, so now I have a legal claim that also in this situation you keep providing me from income. And this is something, when you look at the jurisprudence of labor law in Holland, that you can find some cases where the judge has ruled positive for these people, because it's all about work security and income security. Yes. So, in Spanish, John Olsen me está preguntando acerca de las personas que tienen un contrato 0 horas, que son personas que se sienten ahora mismo vulnerables porque no saben si el mes que viene van a tener su sueldo. Pero existe lo que es una teoría jurídica también, un principio jurídico que en la jurisprudencia holandesa lo encontramos. Si usted ha trabajado 3 meses, por ejemplo, para una empresa y usted tiene un contrato 0 horas, pero durante esa semana de 3 meses lo han llamado más o menos todas las semanas para que trabaje, por ejemplo, 30 horas, entonces después de esos 3 meses usted adquiere un tipo de derecho que usted podrá utilizar para defender su posición hacia su empleador. Eso lo vemos también en la jurisprudencia y estamos hablando de esto con John Olsen.
See, so if there are people, I can imagine there are people at home now who are in this situation. What can they do? Can they go to a website? Can they contact somebody to have help or advice on this topic?
The most important thing is that people have this knowledge and that people have this conversation with their employers. That they write an email like, listen, I know that in Dutch law, when I worked for you so much time, so many hours, I have a certain legal claim. So in my situation, I am asking you to look of if this applies.
Yes.
So that is the first step, talking with your employer and using this knowledge. As from there, we have to see where the situation goes.
Okay.
Then you can have legal aid, for example. In our webpage, www.almonteleclerc.eu, they can find more information about that in Spanish.
That will be underneath. We will put a link so you can follow that. So something else. Yesterday, our government they had a press conference and they told about the new measurement. Did you saw that?
Oh yes, I saw the new measurements, and they said that till the 6th of April the first measures were applicable, but now the date has been postponed till the 1st of June. So this crisis will take more time of our daily lives, in the sense that till the 1st of June people have to stay home, people have to have this distance of a minimum of 1.5 meters. So en español se han tomado nuevas medidas, las cuales van a durar hasta el 1 de junio, donde vamos a tener que mantenernos en casa lo más posible y también mantener la distancia. So John, I talked to the people that is going to be till the 1st of June, and even people can get penalties if they don't keep the distance. So like we said, the mayors, they have more authority now, which they're going to put in practice. Like the police can come to you, and if you are too close and if you are in groups, you can get a fine for that.
And these fines are not just fines for particularly for just people. It can come up to €400, and when it is in like festival business kind of setting, it can come up to €4,000. So this is not nothing. So they're very serious about this. If you want to know more about the new measurement, you can go to the website of the Rijksoverheid. All the measurements, the new measurements, are written there. The 4 most important are, for example, stay as most as possible in your home.
Quedarse en casa.
If somebody is coughing or has fever in your house, the whole house needs to be stayed in the house.
Sí, si alguien tiene los síntomas, por ejemplo, se queda la familia completa en la casa. Eso es diferente a lo que teníamos anterior.
Yeah, also now the hairdressers, the nail salons and beauty salons, they need to be closed down.
Sí, todo lo que es el sector de la belleza está cerrado, ha quedado completamente cerrado. Y ustedes entenderán que eso tiene que ver con las distancias.
And also the gatherings, even if it is less than 100 people, you know, before when it was less than 100 people, you could still gather together, but also that now is strongly prohibited. So all gatherings and all, even with under the amount of 100 people, are prohibited.
Todas las reuniones, no solamente las reuniones de 100 personas y más, sino todas las reuniones donde se reúnen varias personas son prohibidas. No se pueden tener ya aquí en Holanda.
So this duration will be until the 1st of June. Because they say what the Prime Minister said, because in between we have some like the Queen, the Day of the King, we have like memorial days, so we don't need to bother our heads about how to structure that, how to organize that. So that's why they postponed the date until the 1st of June. It is very uncomfortable, especially for the elderly people. We are hearing some elderly people, they are losing their life, and that is very sad. I don't know, did you hear also stories in your network, in your area about people being hurt?
Oh yes, I will be brief on that because the time is clicking and our program is almost finishing. Yes, John, I have heard that some people have even passed away. They died because of the consequences of this coronavirus. This came really close to people that you know, professional people also. So indeed, these measurements that are new, they have to be taken because it's time. Entonces me preguntó John Olsen si conozco personas que han sido afectadas. Sí, personas mayores que fallecieron, que ya no están hoy con nosotros.
Yeah. Let me close with this then, because in all the measurements and all the news we hear, there's also some good things happening. I received news that there are 2 elderly people, one from age 90 and one age 94. They were diagnosed positive with corona, but they have been recovered. So recovery is there. So, but in the meantime, keep the measurements, keep safety distance, wash your hands, clean your clothes, and just take good precautions as is written. Go to the website of the Rijksoverheid. And if you want to know more, if you with the zero contract, click on the link underneath this movie and you can get more information. That's for now. Mr. Almonte, do you want to add something more?
No, in Spanish I will just say lo que ha dicho el señor Olsen, guardar las medidas, mantener la mente calmada y sobre todo sigan este programa porque aquí compartimos informaciones que le pueden ayudar en este momento del coronavirus. Vayan a nuestra página de YouTube, Almonte Leclerc, y suscríbanse. Almonte Leclerc y Olsen. Hasta la próxima.
Be blessed.